Our next recipient has mastered the art of overcoming obstacles. Although he is a native of Chicago, Columbus is his real home, as he is a former OSU basketball player in the Big Ten, and he was a Player of the Year, nonetheless. He himself was a wonderful student and athlete during his time at The Ohio State University. He truly values the power of education, which that in itself is saying so much. He could have just gone and reached his dreams and his goals simply by bouncing a ball, but this man believes in the power of education. We are honoring tonight Mr. Evan Turner for his philanthropic commitment to the United Negro College Fund and the students that we serve.
Hey, how you all doing tonight? Oh, whoops. Like they said, my name's Evan Turner. It's an honor to be here with you. I'm very excited. At first, when I first heard I was going to be honored, I had mixed emotions. One, I was super excited, like I just said, too. I was like, what could I talk about? What topic would I speak on that would, garner the right type of words in regards to garner this type of attention. So I was a little nervous, and I was talking to my buddy Jelani Floyd when we were discussing this topic and the speech we were going to speak on. And one thing, in every situation that I find, when I kind of come into a roadblock, I always try to figure out something funny. And I told Jelani, I was like, back in 2010, everything I did, you couldn't have told me I wasn't, like, all the speeches I was doing till this day wouldn't be like an MVP award or something along that honor in regards to those athletic accomplishments. And even though I had a fun career and had a lot of success with basketball, I've learned throughout life, God doesn't always give you what you need, but gives you, give you what you want, but He gives you what you need. And I think in that sense, I dug a little deeper into my topic as well, and into, how this really came about, because I still laugh, because at the end of the day, like, I really thought when I was 20 or 21, I was going to be a big basketball star and reach my dreams, and I've reached a lot of my goals and did a lot of great things. But personally, I wasn't sure what I could say. And one thing I think, as I dug deeper and tried to figure out what would be proper, I kind of thought back to when I was younger and who helped me get here. I think just saying I'm just a basketball player would do a complete injustice to everybody that helped me get to this point. And, most importantly, my mom. I think a lot to say about myself, and everything I've done as a person has to speak on my family. I came from a great family. My grandparents are here, my aunt's here. I have a lot of friends here tonight, people that helped mold me. But one thing I never really give enough credit to, and unfortunately I don't think she gets enough credit, is my mom. When I was a kid, you guys might not know much about it. I really didn't utter my first words till I was 4 years old. So being up here talking in front of all these people, and that have better talents at this than myself, it's definitely a blessing. And to be up here, preaching and reinforcing education is even funnier too, because along with that, with having speech impediments and things like that, also had a learning disability. And I think that I've learned one thing that me and my mom always talked with obstacles and things like that. You can either attack them or shy from them. And I think she really showed that example to me from day one, because when they say I had a speech impediment since I was 4 or 5, I remember taking a bus in the cold twice a week to speech therapists, so I can overcome that feat, overcome that obstacle, and in a greater plan to get to where she thought I could go. When I got to school, I had a little learning disability, and they suggested I go into classes where would better, suit what I needed. But my mom wasn't, really hearing any of that. From day one, I remember having hooked on phonics. I remember not being able to read, but she's saying, "Oh, you gonna read?" You know what I'm saying? I remember, thinking I was gonna be in the NBA and everything like that. She was like, "You better use that basketball to get to college because I can't pay for it, and you're going to college." And she's like, "If you do get to the NBA, I better not catch any gum in your mouth while you're doing an interview." You know what I'm saying? And, as we got on, I started to get some of her resilient type of personality. One thing we always said was hard work and perseverance brings great rewards. I think that was something I used to try to work on my craft in regards to basketball, but unknowingly it was something that really got me through life. I think as I go back to my old neighborhood, I grew up on the west side of Chicago. I grew up how everybody typically does sometimes, is poverty. I grew up in a single-family home and all that stuff like that. And when I go back there to talk to some of my old friends and everything and kind of reminisce and see where I came from, where I'm at now, I always wonder, like, what was the difference? Like, how was I able to make it out here and nobody else was? And every time I look back on it, it's always the little things that Mom, obviously, that you did. Caring enough to, when times got hard, we had to move from the suburbs where the schools were good. I remember first day of 5th grade, you made me wake up, take the CTA bus. You showed me how to do a 3-hour round trip to go to the suburbs to go to school. We used my aunt's address. I remember being like, why are we doing this? And she's like, you don't comprehend. The resources and everything else is better in the suburbs. The books are different. I want you to have the best opportunity to be successful. I think you need to know that education is going to get you to where you want to go. Even during that time in the summer times when I thought school was over and everything like that, she made sure I had to be at home doing my homework. I had to write in a journal. She used to give me a little journal and everything. So every single day I would write, and she would come home and check. You know what I'm saying? Check to make sure I was developing in that sense. Along with when I would go to school and the teacher was like, you shouldn't be in this class. No, she was, after a long day working, 9 to 5, she made sure I came home, helped me in my homework, and kept me pushing to the next step and not accepting what people told me wasn't possible. Even when I was a little kid and everything, and, with the speech impediment, and, teachers would try to be slick, it'd be a school play, and they wouldn't give me any lines. Iris James would be up there raising hell, making sure. She was like, I don't care if nobody understands them. I'm going to understand them, and you know what I'm saying? You're not going to shut them off. And, so like I said before, I'm really drawn into it. I don't want to be like this big, the NBA players do, you're the real MVP, Mom. But like I said, I wouldn't be who I am without you. I don't think you get enough credit for that. And as a man, as an individual, and as a person that's learned that I'm much more than a basketball player, much more than what people think I am just off the stereotype, it's all because of you. And I really appreciate you instilling that in me. And this award should really be for you because being your son it's really got me here. In regards to just education, like I said, I was fortunate enough to have the right people around me to get to where I wanted to go. I think I always heard this quote that charity is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. So I don't take that for granted. I don't take any of my blessings for granted. I don't take when somebody tries to help me out or anything like that for granted. And I think I would be foolish to not sit here and say how good the right type of energy, the right type of help, and the right type of support can make a difference. Like I said, I was a little kid, 4 years old, probably going towards, maybe if I didn't have the right strong situation or foundation, I might not have been in this with this opportunity or in this room with you beautiful people telling my story. But I think anytime you can have an opportunity to give back and give people a chance to go elsewhere and to explore their minds and explore what the good Lord put out there for them, I think you should always do that, and definitely the UNCF is a great opportunity and a great foundation to do so, and I definitely appreciate you guys having me be part of that. I also want to thank Natalie Cole. I'd like to congratulate the rest of the recipients tonight. Also, my guy, Mike Schiff, how I first got part of it, he texted me and said, hey, I do a lot with the UNCF. We donate every year and things like that. Would you like to be part of it and you know, make a donation? And I kind of took it personal because a 60-year-old Jewish guy was trying to tell me how to help my people, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, of course I can do that. I can do more. So something that turned into a challenge. I really appreciate that. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. Once again, thank you. Amen.